Welcome back to the Stormcast, everyone. This is the podcast where we talk all things TABC sports. My name is Ellie Hochberg, and I'm here with my co-host Oren Glickman. And today's episode is sponsored by Hustle and Heart Sports. Hustle and Heart is an elite athletic company designed to encourage and support athletes in reaching their goals. On June 22nd through the 24th, they'll be partnering with Hal PTA to host a 3-day basketball camp for boys from third grade to eighth grade, which will feature experienced Yeshiva League and Hustle and Heart coaches. Other events include the end of summer girls sleepaway camp and then the boys sleepaway camp at La Vie, where the 5th through 12th graders can learn from top basketball coaches, can compete with top Yeshiva League players, and also develop friendships for life. Hustle and Heart will also be running on March 21st a girls varsity all-star game where Team Yeshiva League will take on National Jewish players at SIR just across the river. And a middle school game, girls Yeshiva League all-star game at Yeshiva Hatid on May 17th. And to round things off, Hustle and Heart just finished their first girls seminary league, where TVA beat MMY in the finals. Once again, thank you to Hustle and Heart for not only making this podcast happen, but also for all these great events. To sign up for any of these, click the link in the description of this video. Oren, how are you doing today?
Good. Another championship Sunday on the horizon. Very busy time for me. I'm happy I was able to fit this podcast into my schedule. Very tiring period right now, but it's exciting time for the student body, and they're what matters at the end of the day.
Yes, you're a man of many podcasts with the Harold Cats podcast, reaching new levels with the Zevi Salmon and Max Zakheim interview, and of course the Yeshiva League Pass, and of course the Stormcast. So let's start talking about, I guess, on the more unfortunate side is that JV Ball lost in the championship to MDY. Oren, I was unfortunately not able to attend that game, and so if you want to talk a little bit about how that game was, I don't think we even ever discussed the semifinal game against Hillel, where TBC absolutely obliterated Hillel and looked like the better team throughout, and we thought maybe they'd have a chance against NDY, uh, but alas, despite playing well in the first half, we lost. So Oren, if you want to give a quick recap of that game, takeaways.
Well, first off, shout out to our amazing producer for always stirring the pot. He can never resist. That's not the reason why JV Ball lost. Um, But listen, I think after the Hillel game, we were convinced that like if TABC could play like this in the championship game, um, they if TABC plays like this in the semis, who knows what they could do in the championship game? But the truth is, MDY is a lot stronger than Hillel. We're only down four at halftime. I thought we looked good in sequences, but at the end of the day, there's a reason why MDY's closest game all year round was a 13-point win. They ran everybody in the league out of the gym. So I don't think there's anything to be embarrassed about, frankly. Excited now to see where Ezra Adams and Tani Stein end up on the varsity level. And as unstoppable as this MDY team was at the JV level, that doesn't matter. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be unstoppable 2 years down the road at the varsity level. People transition in different ways. Listen, this was the championship game that we expected it to be all year round. It came true. And a really bad third quarter is what kind of did TABC in, and MDY, kudos to them. They're the deserved champions.
Yeah, I mean, and just one more thing is that MTY, their closest game was a 13-point win. But besides that, I think their next closest win was like 25 or something like that. They just absolutely dominated everyone. And there's really nothing to be ashamed of for this team. I mean, of course, things went wrong in the championship game. It wasn't just MDY dominating. It was failures on our part also. But it was overall an incredible season, and it's sad that this had to end in a not non-championship win and such a disappointing loss. But this team, you're right, there's nothing to be ashamed of. This MDY team is just on a different level. You want to talk about JV Ball anymore, or should we move it on to more
No, listen,
positive?
points in transition were honestly, we only lost by 20, but if Mag and David were hitting all their layups in the first half, it could have been worse than 20.
Yeah, most definitely. They missed a bunch of
Uh,
layups.
yeah. Yeah, like I said, this is a very promising sophomore class. They couldn't get it done at the JV level, but they still have a lot of promise and optimism looking ahead to varsity.
I mean, yeah, it's a little sad for me to say, but I only got one more year left with those guys.
Right.
So I got the better win the ship next year before I'm
Mhm.
gone. But Just moving on to the hockey side of things, on the positive outlook of things, is that we swept both hockey semifinals. So we'll start it off with JV hockey. They defeated Frisch 2-0 on the back of two David Allen goals. Shout out to my con, by the way. He comes on the podcast and then we sweep all three semifinal games. So really a big reason for our success.
Yeah, but now we really have to win at least one. We can't go 0 for 3.
Yeah, it can't be like last year. I think if we lose all three, we would be 0-6 in the Yeshiva League Championship. We'd be 0-6 in championship games in my TBC career, excluding Sarachek on Yeshiva League Championship games. So we better win at least one. Yeah, so David Allen really carried the team. Max Moskoff, incredible performance in that. And now they'll be facing off against SAR at BPY at 2 p.m. SAR, there's a team they beat 4-1 in the Hive earlier this season. And now they'll be playing at BPY, which I guess we'll discuss a little more in our interview with Marty, is an environment that favors us. So, Orion, what are your thoughts on that JV semifinal game and going into this final?
Yeah, no, I think we were all afraid about the Frisch game because it was the roles were reversed last year and we still came out on top, but we were able to protect home court. We're an undefeated team going into the championship game on Sunday, playing against an SAR team that we played a while back in the last regular season game, which would determine who would end up getting the 1 seed. SAR were first out to a 1-0 lead, and then the second period we just dominated them and really owned the Hive that night. It's my understanding that BPY is a little bit of a bigger gym than the Hive, and SAR have had good success in bigger gyms this year. I think they had like a 4-1 win at Frisch, which was noticeable to me. I think we're definitely going in as the favorites. I would say maybe we're at 55% and SAR is at 45%. We'll see what the fan base looks like, because I think you'll have a lot of upperclassmen who will not want to be at both games. I think they'll just want to be at the varsity game because it's going to be a long day for me, a 2:15 game followed by a 7:15 game. You're basically committing to the whole day in the BPY gym, so it can be very tiring for someone. Listen, I hope that people aren't turned off, and I hope people still are encouraged to cheer on our JV team to victory, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully the pit's obviously a big factor, especially in these JV games. So really hope they turn out. And yeah, so that I think that summarizes JV hockey pretty well. Jack Solomon's the key to our success, and David Allen, obviously, as we discussed a lot. And you know this team pretty well. I've discussed it a lot this year, and it's all going to come down to finishing the job. They look like the best team all year, and they just got to do it one more time against SIR. Any final thoughts against about JV hockey?
Listen, it's a championship game. Anything can happen. I always said with the 3 teams in the championship, I was the most cautiously optimistic about this team. I really hope they can pull it off and finish with an undefeated season and a championship. At the same time, we shouldn't take SAR lightly. And that regular season win over SAR, I think we scored 7 seconds into the second period. And it's all about the timing of when these goals come, So that kind of it was so bad for SAR to give up a goal that early in the period, and I think that's what took them out of their momentum, took them out of their rhythm. So we'll see what happens on Sunday at BPY. But I expect the crowd to be more pro TABC than SAR.
Yeah, and maybe in the varsity side, might be a little different with 2 Bergen County teams facing off in Bergen County, TABC Frisch. We spoke a little about how the JV in the semifinal game. They were going in as heavy underdogs, and yeah, they upset SAR. So we actually have Marty Teitelbaum on to talk about the game and to preview the first game a little bit. So I'll send it there right now. We are live with special guest Marty Teitelbaum. Marty, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Ellie?
Hi, boy. I'm doing well. So, Marty, obviously, moving on to the championship game after upsetting SAR in the semifinals. So, how did you guys game plan for SAR after losing to them twice in the regular season, and what were the keys to your success?
I think keys to our success. Yak's gonna like that I shouted him out on this, and Mo. But for the few practices that we had before SAR game, we kind of obviously our gym is way bigger than theirs, so we kind of mimicked their gym. We took our boards, made them like the best as we could. We like mimicked our court and really just tried practicing like that. And I think it really helped us out with all the like obviously it's not gonna be the exact same, but I think it helped us out with all like the bounces on the court, like where to be really. And like especially for Saul, I think it helped him because like in our gym, he's used to like when we're in the offensive zone, he's got a little bit of a break. But in SAR, no spot on the court he's safe in, and they could shoot from anywhere. So I think that really helped him also just being able to react from a shot from anywhere.
Yeah, so talk about your impact on the team this year. Obviously, everybody likes to talk about this being a miraculous playoff run. The team that failed to make the playoffs 2 years ago, but you were really, shut out of that season because of your injury, and now I think you're the leading scorer on the team this year.
Not sure if I'm leading. I'm definitely up there with me, Jake, and Brothman. I did miss a game though
Right.
at MTA.
Yeah,
Um,
but just talk about this playoff run in general. Like how amazed, unless you expected to get this far, but how amazing is this story for the team in general?
well, I mean, obviously our first round game against Kushner, I thought we were gonna blow them out, and it was little closer than I expected. So we were not happy after that one. Um, then we go into halftime, and obviously I didn't play. Yeah, I thought it wasn't gonna look good. I thought like maybe it'd be a tight game. I thought we were gonna win though. And once they scored like 2 minutes in, and I was shaking my head on the bench, I was like, oh, this is not good. But obviously we pulled through, and then going into SAR, I mean. Obviously, they were the one seed, 13, 0-1, whatever it was. They haven't lost at home, I don't think, like when they were sophomores or seniors. So obviously it was gonna be a hard game going in, but I think like we just rallied together and like we just shut them down. I don't know. We played really like a team more than individuals. So yeah, I think like that just team effort and us. I think we really gave it our all that game, and I think that's all we needed to get by.
Yeah, so Oren talked about it a little bit, is that this team is nearly identical to the same team that 2 years ago missed the playoffs in JV. I mean, what are the keys that really you believe that led you guys to such success this year after facing such adversity just 2 years ago?
Well, a few things. Um, One, as Owen said before, I didn't really play that season. We didn't have a dean. He was at SAR. Um, I mean, Saul was on varsity those years. I think he's really been a big part of our success, probably the biggest part. But yeah, I mean, we're a totally different team. Like we got three different players playing. I mean, I played obviously some of the season, but not most of it. And I think like really just like our attitude is better. I feel like also we came to the season like as underdogs, as like if we play like we were not expected to play to a certain level, and I feel like it's easier to get to that level if you're not expected. Like us going into SCR expected to beat us. They're the one seed. They're expected to win, so they're going in with all that pressure. When we went into SCR, we had no pressure because if we lose, okay, we weren't supposed to win. So it's a lot easier to play where there's no chip on your shoulder. There's just like, okay, if you lose this game, you're expected to lose. So I feel like obviously you shouldn't have the attitude of going in and like, oh, we're expecting to lose, but obviously you think you're gonna win, but deep down, like it's it's a lot easier to play when you don't have anything like oh like we're supposed to win this game, we're supposed to win this game. It's just like it's more of like you're just playing out there.
Yeah, so now you go. Listen, you completed one task of the David versus Goliath matchup, and now you have another David versus Goliath type matchup playing Frisch, similar to SAR. They're a team that swept you guys in the regular season. I don't think anybody gave you guys a shot against SAR. Now I think there are a lot of doubters who believe you guys can go all the way and defeat Frisch in the championship. What's your message to those skeptics out there as you guys head into Championship Sunday?
I mean, all the haters, they could check back Sunday night after we win. Uh, just for that. I mean, obviously they on paper they've got a way better team than us. It's just on paper, but paper is obviously not everything. It's also they might have swept us, but when we played them at TABC and BPY is very similar to TABC, um, we were up 1-0. They tied it up, and then we went up 2-1, and then they scored three straight goals in the late second and third period. We just really collapsed there. But I think we played a very good game in that game. We lost 4-2. I think that was anyone's game. And they obviously swept us, but it's one game. Like anything could happen. It's 36 minutes. We get a few lucky bounces. They get a few unlucky bounces, and the game just goes our way. It's only one game. It's like if you were to tell us we're going through a 7 game series, it'd be a totally different outlook. Like a lot of people would say, oh, like we're gonna lose because even if you steal one game, like there's the better team's usually gonna win four. But even though they're the better team on paper, like I'm just gonna admit that. But 36 minutes, anything could happen.
Obviously, I don't want to reveal. That you shouldn't reveal too much, as there'll be some people from first listening. But take us behind the scenes a little bit about how's the team feeling and what's the vibe at practice like? Is and like how's the prepping going for this first game? Obviously, practice in just a little bit.
We're all very intense about this game. Practice has been very intense. The past two, we have another one in about an hour. But I'm expecting it's gonna be a lot more intense than the other one. It's our game plan. We've trying a few different things out. I think personally it's gonna work. You know, I think we got most of the guys on board. Really, just these last 2 hours of practice tonight, the final practice of the season. I think we're just working on getting everybody on board, and I think once we do that, I think we could just give it to them, and I think we'll win this game with this game plan and whatever that is. But yeah.
Yeah. So before we close out, any shout outs you want to give? Any special thanks you want to give to anybody out there as we head into the last game of your junior hockey season?
Obviously, shout out to the seniors. It's their last game. Um, it's been a sick ride with them. Uh, Obviously, shout out to the juniors also. But shout out to Saul. Saul after that SAR game. Shout out. Probably the biggest game of the season, and he pulled through. So, and also, yeah, shout out to Donnie, Yak, Mo, everyone on the team. And shout out Jeb also.
Okay, Marty Teitelbaum, thank you so much for joining us and taking some time to talk TBC hockey with us. Tzachar
Thank,
Gaba on Sunday, and we'll be rooting for you.
thank you, thank you.
Have a good night.
You
So as we spoke about with Marty, is that we beat SAR in shocking fashion. So what were your thoughts on that game, and how could we repeat and upset again against Frisch?
I still can't believe it, frankly. Um, you know, uh, Jack Linhart, I think, well, his career is over, but I felt Jack Linhart was and is still the best player in the league. And I don't know. Listen, SAR really were pounding on the door all first period, but then it seemed after that they were, a little slow, And I was saying to someone, I think it was to Rabbi Apfel, I was saying to him, um, someone's going to win on a power play. Someone's going to pay the price for a penalty. And granted, it was us that pounced on that opportunity. Jaden LaFell's our captain. He's our senior leader, and he came up in the clutch moment. We held on for dear life as SAR were trying to get that equalizer and force overtime. And the Hive was buzzing with Storm Nation storming the court after. It was a magical night. And like I said in the interview with Marty, one David versus Goliath matchup down, another David versus Goliath matchup to go against Frisch in the finals.
I mean, yeah, this Frisch team is the most talented team in the league, probably. They still
Right.
have
I think a lot of us would have been more optimistic if we were playing DRS.
yeah,
Um,
tell me.
but at the same time, I know Coach Mo and the staff. I know they're going to play to win. I think a lot of us are thinking we're just happy to be here. But you know, anytime it's your arch rival, I don't know what more motivation you need playing your arch rival in the championship game.
Most definitely, and I know that the gym's going to be buzzing, especially if we beat SAR. Momentum's going to be hype. Might be a little different if we lose to SAR. Then I still think the gym's going to be buzzing. But as you said, we're favored against SAR. If we beat them and we have a shot to go to sweep the hockey championships like the DRS did last year, the gym's going to be buzzing. Uh, um, So yeah, I think we could definitely do it. We saw it when they came to ABC. is that we outplayed them probably for the first quarter and first period and a little bit, and then first complete control of the game. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. We saw us beat SAR. We know we can play up there with with SAR, and so it's going to take a lot, but it's going to take a good pit, and we definitely could do it. So pack the pit. Let's go Storm, and let's hope we come out on top of those two championships. Any final thoughts on varsity hockey before we move on to our?
No, listen, I'm going to give credit to any person who shows up to both championship games. I understand it's going to be a very long day and one location. I know with teenagers and their attention spans, it's very hard to spend an entire day in one location. And, it's going to be very tiring, but hopefully it's rewarding at the end of the day. And we come away with two more championships for our hockey program.
Which that would be very, very exciting. And moving on, I guess, to our final sport, a team we haven't spoken about in a long time.
Not our final sport. Varsity soccer is underway at 2-0, and our inaugural flag football team has played already.
I meant winter sport. Just to clarify,
and ice hockey is out of the playoffs too, unfortunately.
Didn't they forfeit or something?
No, they played against SAR. They got their tuchuses handed to them.
Okay, so that's fun, I guess. Okay. So we were going to talk about the final winter sport. Let me clarify. We haven't spoken about it in a while. Varsity basketball. Sarachek rankings came out last night. TBC slotted as the 13, facing Jewish Culture, the 4 seed. The game is a week from tonight. Today's Thursday, March 12th. While we're recording this, the game is Thursday, March 19th. An early Sarachek this year because Pesach's early. So should be very exciting game. Culture is a team that's never been in Sarachek before. So, Oren, if you want to give us a little bit of a rundown of this TBC Culture matchup and maybe just other things to watch out for during Sarachek. Hopefully we'll have an episode before Sarachek, maybe recapping the championship games, maybe a more in-depth Sarachek preview. But just a simple rundown and about TBC's game especially.
Yeah, so it's been a while since TBC varsity basketball has played competitive ball, getting knocked out in the first round by SAR, who eventually reached the finals. So I think we can, obviously they're never moral victories, but we could take pride in the fact that we went toe-to-toe with a team that eventually got all the way to the finals. And, now we go into Sarachek. Yeah, we're going in as a low seed, no question, but we're still going in as the defending champs. And Culture is a school that we've never played before in basketball, so there's definitely a lot of unknowns. Culture played in a lot of tournaments this year. They played in Globerman in LA. They played in the Guinness Ramaz tournament. They played in Satrin and Hafter. They played a lot of ball this year, and they have some real length, size, outside shooting. Hazan is probably their best player. They also have another guy, Jojo Alfasi, who used to play back in the Yeshiva League for Waterbury, and I think is a fifth-year senior for Jewish Culture. Listen, a 13-4 matchup is, you're always going to lean towards the 4 instead of the 13, but I think there's a lot of parity in this tournament this year, so I wouldn't shut the door down on any possibility of pulling off the upset. And our producer is actually bringing up, I always have the zechus of being part of the Sarachek panel committee, and our producer is actually pulling up what my prediction would have been for last year. I think I maybe had like an SAR Berman final, if I recall.
I believe you did, and I'm just going to say that Yosef Silver, if you're listening to this, he called it last year with a TVC victory. So let's see if he does it again this year. No could tell us who he predicted to win. I don't remember who we picked to win. I think it might have been Frisch, honestly. So shout out to Zach Tuckman and his Frisch Cougars couldn't win the championship in varsity ball, but lost in the semifinals. And see if Yosef Silver goes back to back in predicting previous champions. Just a run through of the rankings. Do this quickly. The guys at the 1, they're the champions. Shalhev at the 2, best out of town school. Jacobsons are 6. Frisch 3, we talked about Frisch a lot. Culture 4, Ramaz 5, SAR 6, Flatbush 7, 8 Valley, which is interesting. 9 Berman, Oren's second favorite team in the tournament. 10 Ida Crown. And I think those 10 teams have a lot of parity within them. I think we could see a lot of upsets in those rounds. I think the 10-7. I think the 8-9. Honestly, I think even beyond that, with Cats at 11, Eula 12, us 13, and Fuchs 14. Fuchs is way more talented than they've been in previous years. MTA 15. We know MTA could beat good teams. We saw them beat Hillel a team that almost beat DRS earlier in the year. Iche 16, a team that's always talented, just a little too young.
Yeah, I think the only teams. I mean, now it's a role reversal. Hebrew Academy Montreal being the older team in their tournament, and now they're back to being the younger team. I think among all those matchups, I think even MTA could give Shalhevet a run for their money. I think DRS and Frisch should have easy wins in their matchups. I personally think DRS is in a class of their own right now, but they won the league last year, and they were caught off guard again they were caught off guard in Sarachek, so maybe the same thing will happen again this year. Who knows?
Yeah, there's a funny storyline that I was thinking about is Frisch last year was the 14 and Shock 3 in DRS, and this year we got 14 seed Fuchs facing 3 seed.
Mhm.
3 seed Frisch. Okay, so apparently I was wrong that Silver picked Frisch. Maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. So sorry, I don't know. Could someone tell me who? Guys, please write who Jose Silver picked last year as his champion. And also who?
Can you not see? It's been on the screen for the past 5 minutes. Who he picked?
Who do you pick?
The May Eagles over the Netzach Knights, teams that will never compete in Sarachek.
Yeah, he does it on purpose. Yes, I mean, after that, he always writes his real prediction.
So listen, I
he
think
he gave a real answer. OG, you can say his real.
How do you remember it? No offense.
It's on the screen.
Frisch.
No, can you guys not?
Berman over DRS. Berman over DRS. But Gaby's not back, so I think that's what's changing everybody's predictions.
Oh, Gaby's not playing?
No.
I didn't know this. Okay, so
August is the best player in the tournament, in my opinion.
100%. We got a quick top 5 players in the tournament, not including TBC, because I don't want to feel like anyone TBC is getting slighted. Honestly, I wouldn't put anyone TBC top 5, but whatever.
Alex August, Isaac Stepner, Simon Alul. Those are 3 off the bat. Sam Jacobson.
Two juniors at that.
Sam Jacobson of Shalhevet. Maybe Alicia Saidi of DRS.
Wow. Okay. Like those rankings. So now moving on to spring sports quickly.
I would just say before ending on Sarachek, I think there's some TABC fans who have floated the possibility of, let's tank this game and go into tier 2 and get a hype pit at TABC. I think once you win Sarachek the year before, you want to try to do the best you can to repeat as champs. So we'll see. Culture will be tough, but if the guys lock in and do something special, who knows what can happen. You just have to win 2 games to get into Shabbos, to get into the semifinals, and then anything can happen.
Exactly. And you never play to win tier 2. I mean, I think it's possible, and it wouldn't be the worst thing, but you don't play to win that.
Hoff, did you just not see that picture?
I didn't see any picture.
Oh, OG, you saw that picture?
I did. All right, so spring sports.
I mean, just one more thing about Sarachek. I think it's just like it'd be a funny storyline if we won tier 1 last year, win tier 2 this year, and then win tier 3 next year. Just win all the tiers. But whatever. Random thoughts. Moving on to spring sports. First time in a while, we got to speak about these teams. Some of our most popular teams in the school. Varsity soccer is off to a 2-0 start, defeating JC 9-2 and Hillel 18-3. And we also have flag football, who's 1-1. So, Oren, if you want to give us a little bit, maybe we'll do a more comprehensive spring sports rundown, maybe after Sarachek. But just a little rundown on those 2 teams and how they're doing, just a spring sports rundown in general.
Yeah, well, flag football is an inaugural team. They're in their first year of existence. So they had a rough loss against MTA, but then I think they followed that up with the demolition of Kushner. So we'll see how they do. We'll see how they do in the next game that they play. I think they have a week and a half now. I think they were supposed to play Sunday, but their coach got it canceled, so the guys can go and support varsity hockey. So we'll see. Varsity soccer, 2-0 off the bat, 2 home wins, 2 comfortable home wins. They got the Mercies over both JEC and Hillel. They got the game done in 3 quarters instead of the traditional 4 quarters. And now they will take off for 2 weeks before playing their first away game at Ramaz. And that kind of does it for spring sports. I think volleyball have their first match next week. JV soccer don't start until after Pesach. Baseball and softball and tennis are probably not going to start until after Pesach.
And and varsity softball, never forget about varsity softball. Shout out to the best coach in the Yeshiva League, Isaac Forgash. Hope you're listening to this. Shout out to the second best coach in the Yeshiva League, Zach Tuckman. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. Thank you to Tikvaware for sponsoring us, and have a wonderful day.
Let's go Storm, Championship Sunday.